All right. Thank you for joining me again this evening. As per usual, we are going to be playing a pre-recorded session from our role-playing adventures. Tonight, the party finally arrives at the Empire, and we shall see what hijinks ensue. Enjoy. Okay, the recording has begun. Oh, I need to adjust my push-to-talk settings. Test, test. Excellent. All right, then. Let's begin. Who would like to do the retelling for this evening? I know a lot went down last session.
I mean, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, so the first thing that really happened is we left we left the Faythen capital, Faythen'oc, and we took like a weird chariot that kind of flew us at an extremely high speed, and we ended up in an outlying village that happened to be the village adjacent to the Empire where Daru and her family had been located at one time. The first person we came across was Venatori, who worked in a tattoo shop, and Heldren's first inclination was essentially to get a tattoo, and yeah, Tice aided in that by brewing up a tea using I believe a dragon liver as a regent. So I got a sick tattoo, a really cool tattoo of the that is magic and is moving and is crazy cool. But in addition to that, we found out that Venatori's tattoo shop had some Bard script examples. And we were able to read those, and they told a tale of great destruction. They gave coordinates that Helgen wrote down in his journal. Yeah, in the meantime, Draven went off and found a caretaker, I believe it was, like so somebody who took care of some hollowed ground. His name was Panarin. He was actually able to also tell the story of Daru. And that Daru had 3 daughters, 2 sons. Draven kind of investigated the forensic sites of kind of where Daru's children had fallen. They were able to kind of reconstruct what happened. Specifically, they all had weapons. They all died in kind of one climactic battle, in the same general vicinity of each other, but not in the same place. I believe we actually saw, yeah, we saw actually a couple of the corpses, if I remember correctly. Anyway, we went back to a farmhouse and we found that there were 2 more bodies. One was father. It was Daru's husband, I believe. Who? What was his name? Was his name Cass?
Yes, Cass.
Okay. So we figured out, yeah, the father was there. He was dead. I think he had a huge battle axe. There was where the father fell. There was no plant growth. There was just kind of cracks in the earth. We also found the body of Daru's son, other son, aka not Gunther. And this all led to us delving into Panarin's memory, where we were able to, a couple things happened. We were able to get a clear view of the shield, which was good for Haldren's job. But also we got kind of a more detailed account of what happened. Specifically, Gunther as a child manifested some pretty intense energy and basically just like obliterated through some kind of elemental magic everyone that attacked them. And it was such that Panarin had been essentially mentally blocking it off because re-seeing it would have killed him. Instead, the consequence here was that despite a few different people kind of mitigating the effect, Heldren still caught on fire and got fucked up pretty badly. Luckily, Venatori was able to kind of administer first aid and mitigate the effect a little bit, so it wasn't so bad. But yeah, I believe that was the end.
Yes, it was. So you now you have an idea of where the shield probably was on that night 20 years ago. And it is to the north in the Empire territory, which isn't super surprising. You kind of expected that would be the case, but now you have a much more precise idea of where it was that night, which is going to be very helpful. When the morning dawns, there is a package, actually two little packages, waiting on the statue of the great traveler with a little note on them.
Is Panarin with us?
No, he went back to his house to sleep. I assume you guys like stayed in the inn where you had done your interesting little experiment in psychic surgery.
Yeah, seems like a reasonable assumption.
And I presume as well that Jackie, your character, probably slept in your own house as you live here.
Yep.
Which reminds me, I should bring up your character sheet so I have all that info. Okay, there we go. It looks like most people are just ignoring the packages as they get up and start going about their business. You're guessing no one was expecting a package, but the town is beginning to wake up. Merchant caravans are getting ready to move both north and south.
So are we familiar with packages just showing up on these statues as like a Faythen'oc custom, or is this something that would be new territory for us?
No, it's not entirely unexpected. I mean, there's an energy cost related in getting packages around this way, but yeah, it's not outside of your experience for packages to appear because somebody somewhere else needed them to, and you know, the Faythen'oc are not really known for being thieves and villains so much, so it's kind of okay to just leave packages out in the open, and people walk by, glance at the note, and you go, oh, that's not for me, and then just leave it alone.
Okay, so it's not against custom to actually check if it's for you. All right, cool. So yeah, I'd like to check the note, or just kind of check and see who it's for.
One of them has Heldren's name written on it, and another one has Draven's name written on it.
All right, is Draven with me?
That's a great question, Draven. Where are you? It's morning now. So
I assume I'm around.
I assume you didn't spend the whole night skulking in shadows.
No, I rested, sure.
Especially with that really nice sleepy time tea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just like motion Draven over and just kind of point it, say, oh, yeah, there's a package for you.
Opening your respective packages, Heldren, you find inside your package supplies, specifically engraving supplies. And very specifically, you find a bundle of rolled mithril wires. They're very thin wires, but they're also, even though they're super thin, they're very, very stiff, very difficult to bend. So they don't spool them. Instead, they get them into like little bundles of several wires to a bundle and tie them together. And so you have two such bundles of mithril wire. You can also tell from just before you even see the labels on the bundles, you can tell from the distortion in in what you kind of expect for reality to be, just around them. It's not something serious. It's not something most people would know. But it's not something specific to your psychic sense either. This comes with experience in working with refined mithril. This isn't normal mithril. This is mithril that they took 2 batches of mithril. They pulled all of the weird particle dust that makes mithril unstable and difficult to use out of it, and put it in the other batch. And this is from the other batch. It's been made extra unstable. This stuff is used in your engraving to make really high quality antennas for transmitting belief energy from object to object. It's excellent for both reception and for transmission. The other thing in here that's kind of neat is there is a just straight up normal spool of gold wire. Gold wire is excellent for building reservoirs to contain belief energy and prevent it from decaying over time. Draven, in your package, there is a code book and a little message written in Bardic secret language, which says, we apologize, we haven't been able to give any forewarning to our agents that are in the Empire, as they're outside of the Belief Network and we can't communicate with them. But this code book should give you all of the phrases and passwords you need to identify yourself as a fellow Faythen'oc agent when encountering our agents abroad.
Oh, so they're like fucking Freemasons.
So does it just have sayings in it?
Yep. Sayings and what their meanings are and what the proper responses are to indicate things like, yes, I'm one of you, or yes, I'm one of you, but I'm under duress to say that to you, and somebody else is listening. Stuff like that. There's subtle ways you can change the phrasing to indicate that, like, yes, I'm one of you, and there is danger, and we all need to run now, or yes, I'm one of you, and everything's chill.
Got it.
While most of it is phrases, there's also a section towards the back of hand gestures, just in case you're in a situation where you can't speak. So, yeah. The book indicates that it's fairly up to date in terms of the date that it was created. But honestly, there's no telling how long any of these agents might have been in the Empire. And so the book does have annotations about older practices, older codes. So it's a pretty thorough book, and seem to believe that it should be helpful to you.
How large is this book? Is it just like pocket size, or is this?
It is not pocket-sized, unfortunately. This is the sort of book that you're going to have to keep in a knapsack.
Got it. I now have the incomplete history of secret organizations.
Basically, yeah. The pocket-sized ones would just have current codes in order to include all of the legacy information from agents that have been in the field for a really long time. There's just a lot of info in here. They opted for complete information rather than streamlining it. Which in its own way tells you something about how they value this mission. That normally information amongst your organization is on a need-to-know basis, and they're giving you a lot of information you probably don't need to know, but they can't be sure of it, so they're erring on the side of caution.
Smart.
Tice, you awake feeling refreshed because of course you do, because you had your own delicious tea, which always makes you feel refreshed. Masashi Akoma, what would you like to do today? The bards seem to have gathered over at the statue that you transported to this town on.
I guess I shall go check them out, and if we're still spending time here, I might go see what kind of wonders they have if in town here for sale.
All right. So Masashi wanders over to where the two bards are sitting. There isn't a package for him, unfortunately.
So what are our plans? Are we heading out soon, or do we have time to do a little bit of shopping before we head out?
Venatori, you hear the word shopping drift through the air as you exit your shop and see the three people that you had adventured with the previous night gathered at the in the center of the town square at the statue of the Great Traveler.
I perk up and I as a Faythen'oc, I get the sense that adventure is afoot. You know, I feel like as a people, we have a very keen sense for that. And the stuff we did the other day was pretty fucking badass. I laid down some sweet tats and saw some crazy history and like got to do that, and that's just got my like creative mind.
And then you get to treat a burn victim.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like as an artist, like definitely it's not a great thing to like actually see somebody combust, but it's a great visual reference.
And it was very rewarding to see that your tattoo was so well done that instead of actually bursting into fire, it simply acquired a drawing of fire on it, as though you had tattooed fire onto it to begin with.
Yeah, hopefully it's but yeah. I can see that these guys are doing some legit shit, not your standard rescue cats from trees, as it were, but they're about to embark on what I can tell is pretty epic. And I've been thinking about traveling abroad and doing some Faythen'oc tattooing around the world. So I'm gonna sidle up with these guys and be like, hey.
That's awesome. Plus, it sounds like they're going to go and actually find that shield, which would give you an amazing visual reference too.
Do you know how much of an edge that would give me to actually know exactly what it really looks like?
It'd be a really big deal. That's a fact.
See, that's the funny thing about tattooing. Like, it actually involves a lot of scholarship. I'm so down to see that shield. So down to see that shield. And tell nobody else I work with about it.
We got coordinates, we got a visual reference, we're good to go.
Interesting, I think you're the only one who actually saw that visual reference.
Miles or me?
Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only one who went into the guy's brain.
I haven't told anyone I saw it, but I saw it.
I mean, obviously, I would know about the shield, so the fact that we have a chance to go and find it is super exciting.
I'll open and say I know where the shield is. I know where to find it. So
yeah, I'm coming with you guys. I wave goodbye to the people on my shop and be like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for a while.
One of your apprentices is actually quite excited to now prove themselves in your absence, as they take over your table. This is the opportunity every apprentice dreams of. Chance to take over the shop and prove that they are worthy.
Pretty much. On an IRL note, like my boss legit said that the other day. He's like, what do you think about becoming the shop manager one day? I was like, like I had no answer because I was like, oh my god. I was like fucking freaking out. But I was like, calm yourself, it's fine. I was like, yeah, maybe in the future.
That'd be pretty awesome. It's a good location.
Fuck yeah, dude. Our reputation is so tight. We're like one of the top 3 shops in town. We just got recognized for that, like in an article for Long Beach or something like that.
That's awesome. High honors.
Yep. It's gonna get crazy too because the city ordinance changed recently to open up more zoning availability for tattoo shops because it was super strict before. So it's gonna get fucking crazy down here in the next few years.
All right. So, what is your guys' plan for heading north?
Also, how much longer are we staying in the town for?
Yeah, you've been given the sense, and also told explicitly, that Aphthis is an imminent threat, and that this time is of the essence.
Okay.
Well, not you specifically, but the bards have. So I don't know what they're going to encourage you to do here, but yeah.
I mean, I've just by my very nature, well, we know the coordinates. Might as well start heading towards them. But yeah,
Yep.
anyone have any objections? Just heading north right now.
No. There's probably some good ingredients up there anyway. Something I haven't seen before.
We're good to go whenever.
Yep. I've got my little kit on me, and I'm ready to go.
There is a caravan moving north right now. However, they will be moving very slowly as they are ox-drawn carts. The oxes are not super fast. All the carts are empty. They just delivered a whole bunch of stuff, and now they're going up with a few trinkets that basically they fit in their backpacks, having offloaded their massive quantities of grain. But even still, even with empty carts, oxes are not fast creatures. But they are heading the same direction. You guys can easily just walk past them if you want to, or you can hang with them and try and go north. These guys do appear to be Imperial citizens. They are not Faythen'oc. Although many of them are dressed as Faythen'oc, as they found that one of the better things to trade for was high-quality clothing.
Dude, I bet we look fucking fly as fuck, dude. We're probably the
100%.
best dressed. It's like the old time Vikings. Like they had like beautifully combed hair, beautifully combed beards, braids, nice ass clothes, and the monks were just like salty as fuck that they were raiding their shit, so they like talked shit about them.
Maybe we should go with them. Maybe talk to them and see if they have heard anything about like random walls appearing.
Yeah, I'd say I agree. Let's do like some light intel gathering, but I'd say if anything, we should break away from the caravan and travel on our own to get a better pace.
Or maybe our energy will just make them go faster.
I know at least one of you can just like totally burst of speed their way down the road. All he's got to do is to get somebody to look at that sweet tattoo of his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't forget to use that thing, man. That thing is gonna be tight. Is it just for combat that you get a burst of speed, or how did you decide you're gonna use that power?
Anytime he's using athletics to move quickly.
Holy fuck, that's gonna be tight.
And he gets a bonus to it if the person who looks at the tattoo before he triggers it is Faythen'oc.
Like, it would be pretty cool to stick with the caravan, because, like, I could probably just tattoo out of one of the wagons and collect some myths from the Imperial citizens and add that to my library of imagery, but I'd rather get to that shield first.
Yes, but we do not know anything about the area above. Maybe we can find out some stuff from these people, the travelers, because travelers usually know more information because they go across many cities.
I'm good with whatever.
At the head of the caravan, there is a caravan leader. His many lackeys are spread out across the caravan to make sure the oxes keep moving. But yeah, at the head is a caravan leader, and he is just sort of looking back over his guys, make sure everything's okay. Occasionally looking at his books, but he pretty much knows that he's he's finished with the hard part of the journey. So he's pretty relaxed right now.
So basically, going through Faythen'oc was the hard part.
Yeah. From this guy's perspective, the hard part was dealing with the barbarians. Now that he's got his loot and is heading home, he's fine. Of course, from your part, he is the barbarian.
Can I see the relief on his face? Is it plain? Is it plain to see?
It's plain to see. He's clearly made out well with this trade, and he likes the stuff he's got. He seems to be dressed modestly from your perspective, but from his perspective, this is like the coolest shit he's ever seen.
Okay, and we're pretty much walking like alongside him at this point, or?
Yep. On foot, you guys can easily outpace these ox carts.
Okay. I'll just kind of glance over him. I'll say, happy to be back on your native soil, huh?
Will be soon. This Faythen'oc province lasts another few miles, and then we'll be at the gates.
I assume am I familiar with the gates?
No.
Probably not.
Most Faythen'oc really aren't. There's only a few that have really had reason to go up there. Generally, the Empire comes down here. The Empire thinks Faythen'oc is one of their provinces.
I'll say gates. Ha! There's no need for gates. No threat will ever make it through Faythen'oc.
He chuckles and says, I believe that to be true. Anyway, Hypo Province is going to be a fine place for us to take a small rest, and then probably head north from there, or maybe west.
So
need to see where the trade winds are blowing.
So you have a trade route to the north. Cool.
Yeah, north of Hypo is the province of, let me find it, Jaibur. The Jaibur province has a pretty nice trade city. Hypo's all right, but it's more of a way through, you know? I'm not saying anything bad about Lord Hypo. May his branches be evergreen. Just, you know, I'd like to be doing some business in the big city of Jaibur.
Yeah. Do they tell good stories there?
Oh, well, it's always hard to tell if one of their stories will meet up to your exacting requirements, sir. But they do good for themselves. Mostly, I'm thinking of turning my newly found loot here into different kinds of more liquid currencies.
Like beer.
Oh, there'll be some of that too, I'm sure.
Good. Beer is good.
I think you channeled Wolthar for a moment there.
May I ask, what is the first city up north anyway?
Oh, the next province we'll get to is Hypo, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of a city. Yeah, there's a lord there with his castle. Used to be a hospital there. It's all boarded up now, though.
Because only cowards use hospitals? I don't believe that's true.
He shrugs and says, rumor is it's haunted. I've never stopped in there long enough to find out. They've got the place boarded up anyway, so no one can go in.
We must go there. There has to be a good story there. A lot of history. We should go there and find it.
He shrugs and says, do as you please. I'm just gonna probably roll on through.
I was kind of like look back and just kind of like punch Draven in the arm. Say, hey, they have a haunted hospital. We should go see that.
How would this help us?
I mean, there's a story there. There must be a tale behind it. Perhaps it's meaningful to us.
Faythen'oc are so easy to please.
Yes, of course. As it pans inside the actual cart now, Mashishka is already sitting in it while everyone's talking. He's just handing over the driver a cup of tea.
Yeah, I'll say, what are ghosts after all but ancestors?
I love this ambient tea making. It's like, if you're not doing anything, we're just going to assume you're making tea. At any point in time, you can just say, I hand a guy a cup of tea, and I don't even need to question that you made it, that you had time to make it, or that you even had a cup. It's known. It's assumed.
Any time that's otherwise unaccounted for is tea making time.
Time is an illusion, except for tea time. Do you guys stick with the caravan, or do you run up ahead of it?
If it's moving slow, I suggest moving ahead, but I'll not just do that on my own. Like, I'm just making the suggestion.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I'll follow whoever's lead. I know Draven's been tasked with kind of making sure this operation gets completed, right? So
yeah,
whatever he says we should do,
I'm assisting you as well.
I mean, Draven, like your instructions are pretty explicit. Heldren is a critical asset. His skills are required for the mission, and so it's like make sure he survives and gets to the location at all costs. Once he uses his skill, he becomes an expendable asset. But until then,
That's my favorite part of the mission.
Meanwhile, I'm like, hey, a haunted hospital, let's go there.
Or like previous night where you're like, hey, this guy has like dangerous shit in his head. Let's dive into his brain with psychic powers.
Maybe as we're sitting, I guess we'll spend a little bit of time here at least and talk about so what can you tell us about the province besides the haunted hospital?
Good pig country. Some good grain grows there too. Out in the forest, there's a little bit of game, but mostly they use the pigs to find mushrooms, dig up roots. They brew an okay root beer. Now, when this guy says root beer, he's not referring to a delicious sugary soda. He's referring to a beer made by brewing roots until they become alcoholic.
The proper kind.
Which should be.
Be right back too, sir. That was a good message there.
May I ask, has there ever been tall tales about a heroic shield in that province that people may have recovered?
Guy says, I ain't a bard. I don't have a great memory for tales. I'm a merchant. If you want a shield, I mean, there's smiths up, all over the Empire. I'm not sure they make one as fine as what you fellers make. Honorable sirs, I mean no disrespect, but if you are lacking a shield, then perhaps we can make a deal. He starts rummaging around in one of his packs and pulls out a really nice, it's a nice quality 6 shield. It's pretty good. It's no family heirloom or anything, but it would service.
Oh, I apologize, but I don't think that's the shield that is being looked for. I ask, do you know of any great herbs and other things? Any like dragon's liver or unicorn horn that I may procure in the next area?
Oh, well, there's always them spirits. They're all over the place. Further north you get, the thicker they'll be. Unicorns ain't seen. Dragons, though, got plenty of those. Got to keep going north for that, though. Far north. Much
Yeah.
farther than these provinces.
Yeah, yesterday I made a tea using the liver of a dragon.
My God. What did that even taste like?
Can I hear this conversation?
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna show him my tattoo. Be like, yeah, I got this awesome tattoo. And then I caught on fire.
He takes a step back. He's like, and that's why I'm going home right now. Just gonna get back across the border out of this crazy province. It's crazy people. Like, no wonder there's no lord down here.
Yeah. I'll say, yes, a mundane life suits you.
Is it also true that the people of your empire are avid lovers of the tea?
Oh, yes. Tea is very traditional.
Would you like a second cup?
Oh, yes, thank you. So, staying with the caravan then, I presume, since that seems to be the case. Yeah, you guys make your way north, and if you wanted to trade with them, they have a bunch of generic quality 6 stuff, all Faythen'oc make.
So is their trading philosophy, I mean, I wouldn't know this is kind of meta, but like, is their whole trading thing basically they just take generic Faythen'oc yard trash and bring it up to the Empire where it's badass?
Yeah, that's basically it. In the Empire, this stuff is considered legendary awesome. And so that's their thing, and then they trade it for huge quantities of money, which they spend most of to live comfortable lifestyles. Then they'll take the rest and acquire huge quantities of grain, meats, and various just mass-produced stuff.
So stuff that Faythen'oc actually value,
Right.
as opposed to their currency.
Right. Yeah. Because Faythen'oc has no value for their currency. So they convert it into grains, anything they can, like, in bulk. And they bring huge bulks of grains and things down and trade them for what you guys consider to be, like, regular stuff. And,
the whole concept of currency, like, breaks down when it's less fungible than, like, grain or meat.
Yeah, and, like, when one of these guys tries to give coins to a Faythen'oc guy, like, he looks through the coins to find the one that has the prettiest picture. It's just really confusing to them. They don't get it. If all the coins have the same picture, then that devalues them, because in the Faythen'oc's eyes, it's not unique.
So, are Faythen'oc pretty good at having, like, a fairly uniform recognition of currency value, or is like the value of currency is completely subjective from one Faythen'oc?
Completely subjective and based on artistic preferences.
Okay, cool. So basically, currency does not really work as it's supposed to.
Yeah, in the Faythen'oc territories, it totally doesn't. And honestly, between most Faythen'oc, they don't even think in terms of making profit. The people who make things tend to give them away to show off, and the people who receive them tend to give them their own awesome things in appreciation. And the bards have this nightmare problem of trying to make sure everyone gets fed, which is why these trade routes with the Empire are really important.
I can just imagine some poor fucking bard. He's just like sitting at a table, head in his hands, just like, oh god.
And as bards, I suppose we kind of understand. Would we understand this dynamic, or is this highly specialized even within like a certain subset of bards?
There are bards that are highly specialized in agriculture and food distribution, but you guys generally understand. As bards, you understand how currency works outside of Faythen'oc, at least academically. You may not be culturally attuned to it, but academically you have this understanding that the barbarians don't know art when they see it, and so they only value things by the number of them. So while it may be insulting, it's not. At least it's not confusing.
Right. No, we would understand how like a simple pattern-oriented mind with no real eye for artistry would prefer this. It's like how dogs prefer food rather than money.
Right. From the Empire's perspective, of course, you guys are the barbarians who don't even understand currency.
But we understand art, so who's the real barbarian?
Yeah, exactly. Up ahead, you can see that there is a sort of a gate. You're traveling through forest, so it's not too far up ahead when it suddenly becomes visible. But the forest does kind of taper down a little bit into lesser trees. And you can see as you approach the gate that the gate is mounted in a stone wall that looks just worn nearly to rubble.
Were we given any instructions by the council as to how we would enter the Empire?
Nope.
Okay, so we're just kind of left to our own discretion. All right.
Yep. The council trusts you.
From that, I feel like we could maybe kind of implicitly assume that this should not be a major complication. And if it is, it's something that they expect we can handle.
Yeah, I mean, and remember, the Empire doesn't consider Faythen'oc to be another country. They consider Faythen'oc to be one of the provinces of the Empire.
But we don't consider that to be the case.
True.
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
And the Empire doesn't have the slightest clue how big Faythen'oc is.
I'm not gonna make a mockery of Faythen'oc by agreeing with that wildly incorrect assertion. So.
The caravan leader turns to you and says, "You got your travel papers in order?" He seems to be pulling out papers and handing them out to his minions along the line.
I'll say, "Oh, we need travel papers." Oh, okay. I'm just gonna take my artifact pen, and I'm gonna take some paper, and I'm just going to start writing.
Well, I do travel with these papers. But what?
Are you going to write an amazing, like epic poem about traveling?
Yes, I am.
I mean, I have an artistry of 5, so I can help you write whatever documents you want. Like,
fuck yeah! All right, let's team up. We both got 5 artistry. Let's fucking rock. Let's knock this shit out.
you be using focus or cunning or what?
I always use empathy personally, because everything I write is meant to just hit you directly in the soul.
I mean, on some level that's true for me too, but for me I think focus is what it is, because it's like just spending like extended periods of time doing something that requires an immense amount of attention.
Hey, that's fair.
Okay. How many dice are you rolling on this one, Miles?
I am going to be rolling 9. If my prose mastery has effect, I'm going to be doing it with a tier 5.
Ah, yes, this is prose. That was 8 successes. And Jackie, how many dice are you
that's
rolling?
not great.
If I'm using focus, then it's going to be 8 dice.
And do you have anything granting you advantage?
Nope, my kit is just for tattooing, so I'm going to say no.
Well, yeah, okay. Items, were not actually, I was looking at, like, your traits. So you have the trait Surprisingly Scholarly.
Oh wait, I didn't. How many pips off was I from getting the 9th success?
The 9th success was a 3.
Oh, okay. So my pen of legendary commemoration is quality 8.
Ah, that'll do it. 9 successes.
All right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so if my trait gives me a bonus, then I guess that will do that.
Surprisingly Scholarly?
Change it to something else.
Is this a scholarly paper that you're writing, or is this, like, poetry?
Assuming that I'm understanding the nature of like immigration and like travel papers, I'm going to assume that it's not necessarily like flowery. It has like it's a bureaucratic function that it provides.
You clearly understand immigration far more than I do.
I tattoo a lot of travelers, you know.
Okay.
Surprisingly scholarly, motherfucker.
Surprisingly Scholarly, yep.
That's gonna be your next trait. Next time we get a renown.
Oh, I already. That is like the one trait that I wrote down for my.
Oh,
character.
perfectly.
And that's 5 successes. So in total, you guys have put together 14 successes worth of grand poetry.
Documents.
Papers. The the caravan master kind of looks over you as you guys finish. He goes, "You know, you're not supposed to forge your own, right?" And then he just decides to ignore it.
I'll say, oh, these aren't forged. These are
originals.
These are the greatest originals they will ever see.
For a moment, I thought you were saying these weren't forged; they were written.
I forged nothing. Everything I make is a true original, and it is majestic.
Like if I was forging something, you would see a hammer and an anvil.
Yeah, I am no blacksmith.
Did you get your eyes checked?
You silly imperial retard.
So the caravan guy, I guess, is ready to go. But again, he's got a cart to take. So you guys can go first if you want, or you can wait and see how they get through.
Let's go first. Fuck these guys.
Okay.
I'm heading back because I want to study these people and what they do.
All right. I mean, if you guys want to stay back, I'll stay back. I mean, I'm not gonna march over there by myself.
Ha! Peer pressure.
As you get up to the gate, you notice that the gate itself and a lot of the structure that keeps the gate attached to the wall looks way newer than the wall and the rest of the structure. The wall is crumbling stones covered in moss, but the gate itself is like new wood, shiny, painted.
So if push came to shove, could we climb over the wall, like say a half-mile from here?
Oh yeah, without any trouble. It doesn't
So-
even look like the wall is manned, and the gate itself is not even closed. There just happens to be a guard standing inside it.
So as far as I'm concerned, like we're good. Like fuck these guys. Like they just need to be told a cool story. All right, we can do that.
The guard sort of, he puts up his hand, but he doesn't really move to get in your way. He says, "Papers, please."
He says it to us or to the caravan?
To whoever comes first. So if you guys hang back, he says it to the caravan.
Yeah, I guess we're hanging back. So I guess it says it to the caravan first.
So the first caravan guy hands him like a stack of papers. He looks at the first one, and then he kind of thumbs through the others, and he makes some notes on a little board, and then he sort of ushers him through. And then as each of the drivers of the different oxes come through, he checks against the notes he put on the board against their papers, and then motions them through one at a time.
I'm just gonna mumble, I'm gonna mumble to Venatori, like, "Ha, a boring tale."
Yeah, he doesn't seem super excited. He raises his eyebrow a couple times as he's like checking off interesting pieces of gear that are coming through. But again, like these guys are not laden down with huge quantities of stuff. They have a few really awesome, from their perspective, artifacts that they bring in.
So he seems impressed by Faythen'oc craft, is what we can kind of glean from that.
Yeah, impressed, but it's that sort of like, I've seen a lot of shit. This is the good shit. I recognize it's the good shit because I've seen a lot of shit.
Yeah, and they're here every day, so like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it gets to us, and he's like looking at his board. And he's like, "Papers, please."
Yeah, he's looking at his board and is like, "You guys were not on the caravan master's list. Do you have your travel papers?"
Yeah, yes. I will hand him our papers.
He looks at these, and at first,
it's an epic poem.
At first, the words out of his mouth are, "These aren't," and then he just kind of stops, and he reads for a while. He turns the page, and with each page, he starts turning faster and faster, and then by the end of it, he is in tears, just crying, and he kneels down and hands it back to you. I'm sorry, I need a moment.
So yes, take all the time you need. It is a touching tale.
Yeah, and is he as he looks down, there's a cup of tea.
So yes, you should take some tea. Take some tea.
He takes the tea, he sips
to soothe your soul.
It's been a while since I've traveled south. Thank you for that. You should know that this won't work anywhere else. As you travel north, you're going to need real travel papers. But thank you. I greatly appreciate this. You should speak with our lord. He's in the castle just up the road. He can issue you proper travel permit for traveling outside. I understand. We all understand up here. Your province doesn't have a lord to issue you travel papers. So this is a normal thing. Don't be alarmed. And thank you very much for your great gift. I am unworthy to have it, and I would ask that you present it to my lord.
No. You must keep it. You are worthy, and never forget that. And thank you for your wise counsel.
This is a gift I will always treasure.
Say, and what is your name, sir?
You know, I never gave this guy a name. I didn't think he would be involved for more than about 7 seconds.
No, he has a relationship with Faythen'oc art now.
We're like this
He
now.
does.
We're like this.
Knight Roderick.
We're going to call him Tyreer.
What, Tyreer?
Tight rear.
Tight rear. Yes, he's got a tight rear.
Well, he has to stand there all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got to work those glutes. All right. I'll say, tight rear, I will write of you in my tales as the wise gatekeeper. And they'll just kind of nod at him and kind of walk away.
All right, Tyreer, the gate guard, has been put into my notes.
Yeah, tight rear and shitface. They're definitely related.
All right, you can see the caravan is advancing up the road. The forest has gotten much less dense here. You have an easy time kind of seeing through it. The road doesn't wind too much. It's actually really well made. And it heads to a hill, and you see many buildings on this hill, the most prominent of which being actually at the bottom of the hill. It's a massive, horrific, ugly building that you imagine whatever architect designed it died of shame after creating such a horrible, ugly, featureless thing, and then making it just so big.
Is this the building that Tight Rear directed us to?
No, it is not.
Okay. Is this? So I suppose so. Tight Rear directed us to a lord. Where is that lord, and who is that lord?
There is a castle up at the top of the hill.
Okay.
It's only a few stories tall, like maybe a 4-story building. For some reason, there's this monstrous 6-story building at the base of the hill.
The fuck is that?
The castle also looks kind of nice. Maybe not up to Faythen'oc standards, but definitely like some effort was put into the artwork on it. It looks pretty good. Whereas this building at the bottom of the hill is just an obscenity. There's no art, no features, plain gray walls.
This must be some kind of bureaucrat building.
Yeah, let's go to this bullshit, shitty building, and let's tell them that they live in a house of bullshit.
As you
Just roll up on them, throw some shit. Your house is bullshit, and then like fucking pop a wheelie and fucking fly off. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
flipping them some double birds.
yeah, man.
Well, you're a tattooist. You know about excellent art. Maybe you can inquire them of giving them some lessons of how to make great art for their building.
I mean, I would also know how to paint.
Yes,
And,
if time permits.
So, like,
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right. A tattoo artist, you totally know how to like paint and make stuff look cool.
like it's your job.
like my job.
And I just find it like the fact that we're rocking 2 party members with 5 artistry means like there's just crazy shit because I'm an engraver. I have like I have a legendary engraving set just like fucking sitting here in my inventory. So we can make some cool shit happen. We can leave some awesome relics behind.
Art Glow Lab.
As you approach the building, some of its features become a little more clear. It has doors and a few windows. Not many, just a few. The doors, there's a mix of regular-sized doors and very large, like maybe wagon-sized doors. They're all perfectly evenly spaced around it. And yeah, there's just no attempts to decorate whatsoever. All of the doors are boarded up. There are boards over them in X's, signs put over them, and it looks like some carvings in the wood that may be like magical wards. And in front of the main door, there are 4 guards. 2 of them are facing outward, holding spears, and 2 of them are facing inward, holding holy relics and chanting. They're facing the building.
Do I recognize the holy relics?
You do not.
What
Probably
about
would.
me?
I don't know jack shit about like Imperial.
Yeah.
I got scholarship. Hang on.
Okay. How much are you rolling?
Would it be cunning or perception for this? Perception, I guess.
Cunning if it's something you remember from the past. Perception if you're looking for details that might be hidden to the normal viewer.
So like, if you're looking at these small little relics from far away, maybe it would be perception. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my cunning and my perception are both 1, as it turns out, because I spent all my points on focus. But my scholarship is 4. So it'd
Okay,
be like a
5
total of
dice.
5, with any benefits from surprisingly scholarly applied.
I would say that would give you advantage, yeah. So, benefit to your threshold. Which I just want to point out, 2 of the 3 successes you got are solely because of that benefit to your threshold.
Sweet.
75542. All right. Yeah, you notice that the relics are of a style that you would artistically associate with magic of life and death. They have this sort of duality, yin yang kind of thing going on. but
Gotcha.
they also have symbolism like
It's like
skulls.
contrasting,
Yeah.
contrasting elements. Yeah.
Contrasting elements, but one side of those elements clearly has like skull and bone
Motifs.
motifs. Yeah.
I'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Some bad juju up here. Some
Their
some
posture,
heroic needs to happen here.
their posture indicates that they're not guarding the hospital from you. They're guarding you from the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, so is Venatori able to deduce that this is the hospital based on those relics?
Yes. This is the boarded up building. I mean, you've so
Okay.
far only heard about one. Yeah.
I relay all the information about the iconography that I'm seeing and make a guess that this has something to do with health or something like that.
Okay. So I'll kind of like usher in the party around me. I'll say, so if my understanding of ghosts is correct, ghosts are nothing but ancestors, right?
Being
Somebody's
a Faythen'oc, I would
ancestors
be
are.
like, obviously.
So how can they be our enemy?
Perhaps they don't recognize us.
So
Perhaps they
We
got,
should-
you know how you get when you get into a really epic battle. Sometimes you get a little,
Yeah.
a little bloodthirsty and you don't recognize friend from
Yes.
foe,
So we should introduce ourselves. We should clear up this misunderstanding. Perhaps there's history here.
I like that idea.
Maybe there's something we can use.
Yeah, these giant fucking walls that have nothing on them. I could use that.
The guards do not seem ready to let you into the building, and all of the entrances are boarded up and sealed with magical wards at the moment. You may speak with the guards if you wish. Any of you, in fact. Or you may proceed onward, or you can sit here.
I'll speak with the guards. I'll say, I heard there are ghosts here.
It's true. Each night they threaten to break free of their seals. You look like brave lads. You should speak with our lord. See if he'll grant you permission to enter and face them. He granted permission recently to a bard, but I don't know. He hasn't come down here yet. Still up in the town.
Okay. Interesting.
Had two
So
heroes
wh-
with him, singing songs about doing great deeds. Managed to get himself permission to enter. Just waiting for him to show up.
Then I'm sure they'll be here. The Faythen'oc, they do not shy from a challenge, particularly ancestors. It's tragic what's happened here. You must misunderstand your ancestors. It's tragic that ancestors and the living should come to a misunderstanding. They are here to help you.
Yeah, well, if they are my ancestors, they're not acting like it.
Yes, they must misunderstand. Yes, we can speak to your lord. We will fix this. Perhaps we'll see if we're able.
If the price is right. You guys seem like good folk, not like mercenaries. So.
Oh, is that what he's saying to us?
No.
Okay, because I was saying, like,
I'm
your
teasing.
your currency means nothing to me. I piss on your currency.
The road then sort of winds back and forth on its way up the hill and starts to be joined by shops. And it's really, really disturbing just how closely packed the buildings are, how small they are, how squalid the conditions. You've never seen people packed into a space like this before. There's people sharing houses, like one family living on the floor above another. It's
That
barbaric.
is strange to me. Now, do we understand on some intellectual level that they're like lacking for a space in a way that we're not?
Yeah, on some intellectual level, you understand that the reason they're packed in this tightly is that most of the land around it is being used to grow crops or raise game.
Okay. And do we, I suppose as bards, we'd even understand that a lot of the crops that they're growing is actually heading directly south to feed us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can't really like shit on it because it's kind of like the whole system that keeps us going. All right, fair enough.
The only thing would be my preoccupation with how bare all the walls are.
Yeah, it's just so
No
disturbing.
art anywhere. What the fuck is this?
Except for the castle, which has lots of neat little statues. They're not like high class, but they're there.
I'm like looking at it like, why aren't they like that? That. What the fuck?
One
It's
of
right
the
there. It looks great. Why don't they all do that?
Yeah, like the idea that only the nobility can like commission art is like completely fucking foreign to us.
one of the peasants' comments is, "If all of us were lords, who would plow the fields?"
Why, your most majestic farmers, of course. Your heroic farmers. Who else?
He mouths the word majestic, like he doesn't quite understand.
Yeah.
Why should a heroic farmer be any less celebrated than a lord? Would the lord not starve if not for you?
Your foreign ways are very strange, sir.
He like doesn't even understand. He has not been lit. Look at this poor proletariat fucker.
Yeah, he's like, here, have a turnip. I don't get it.
My cabbages!
That's so sad.
The castle does look pretty good. There's also an inn that, while it's not super decorated, it does have a sign that's got a little bit of art on it.
Oh, neat.
It's a carving of a pig on the sign.
Is there any reference to beer?
Yes. I believe it's actually called the Drunken Swine.
All right.
Ah, tight.
I'll go in, I'll order a beer, then I'll just like leave with like a tankard.
It's like Vegas. Just
I'm
doing shit.
I'm just gonna bring my tankard right up to the castle.
Okay.
I do the same.
Who's going into the inn and who's proceeding to the castle?
I mean, I thought we're not stopping. We're just
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
into the inn long enough. Yeah, I'm going into the inn long enough to get a tankard and then to head right over to the castle.
Yeah, same. Totally
The
like that.
the bartender gives you a tankard and says, "Another one of you, eh?"
Said another. Have you had Faythen'oc here recently?
Aye. Poor fellow took ill. He's in our upstairs room trying to sleep it off.
Oh, that is why he's not down at the hospital.
The bartender gestures to a corner. It's like, his companions are over there. You see a very large woman with a bow on her back and a spear that she's leaning against as she pounds her drink upon the table. And next to her is a small, wiry man with spiked gloves hanging from his belt that he is not currently wearing because his hands are greatly involved in stuffing food in his mouth.
All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman. A giant woman. I'm going to head right over there.
Hell yeah. These people, I mean, we're probably already a little homesick, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thought that there's a Faythen'oc out there who's in need of aid and away from home just makes me, like, gravitate right towards them.
And so you find yourself at the table with them, and they hail you, for they recognize that they are among heroes once more.
So yeah, it's a fellow Faythen'oc, a sight for sore eyes.
Ah, indeed. I am Egalista, the woman says. This is my companion, Sinlan.
Is she, like, particularly large for a Faythen'oc lady, or is she, like, are they just all Amazonian kind of, like, ladies generally?
Faythen'oc come in every shape and size.
Yeah, I was curious about that,
Yeah.
because I know, like, Gunther and Muthar are, like, giant fucking towering dudes. And even Harving is really fucking tall. She's like
Yeah.
5'10".
These
and that's like tall as fuck for a
this
lady.
woman is tall. She is like Gunther Wulthar Harving size.
She's like in her 6 foot
Yeah.
something.
And she's also quite broad. She looks like that spear could be thrown an incredible distance with ease.
Oh my god, I'm in love.
The bow on her back also looks like it would require the strength of like 3 people to pull the drawstring. It's strung so tightly.
Yeah, Venatori is like just enamored with this giant woman because on top of being like obviously a super badass hero, just look at all that space. for
Yeah, I was about to say
tattoos.
there is a lot of her. You should.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I
was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
I would say you should tattoo her. There is a lot to tattoo.
There is a lot to tattoo.
She
I'd say that
smiles
was,
and
like,
flexes her muscles.
Glimmering eyes, just like, oh yeah, like all about it.
She looks like she's about to like draw an arrow and strike a pose for you, and then she thinks better of it. Says, I'm sorry, I don't want to damage any of this building. It's very fragile.
Oh yes, these non-Faythen'oc constructions are just subpar.
Says,
But I like reach out and touch her hand, you know,
says, I
get
went
in there and say,
when we
I say-
first
I-
arrived, I went to celebrate, and I put a hole in the ceiling.
Say,
must be a terrible ceiling with shoddy construction. But I like reach out and touch her hand. I hear your compatriot is not doing well. Is there anything we can do to help?
She sighs. Yeah, he's taken ill with a fever. He didn't even get a chance to try the local beer.
I do have medicine skill, so I would be. I'll offer, to take a look at him if there's anything I can do to help him.
If you could, we would greatly appreciate it. We were going to, on commission from the Lord, we were going to adventure into the haunted hospital at the base of the hill, but we dare not do it without our bard, or none would be able to claim that they saw us do our great deeds, and I would hate to boast and have none believe me.
Oh,
Yes,
well,
that's truly
yes.
truly a priority then to get your bard back on his feet. Lead me to him, and I'll take a look.
All right. The floorboards rumble as she walks across the room, and the stairs groan and creak under her weight as she ascends. One of the things that you noticed, Draven, is as she's walking across, there are some of the floorboards that the vibrations indicate chambers below. So,
Ooh, there's a basement?
there is a basement. There's no obvious door to it, but there is some kind of basement here.
Okay, can I spend time kind of looking around for a door?
I mean, if you
Or just some
like,
sort of trap
the funny
door.
thing is, if you just like walk around, there might be a point where like you see where the floorboard's the most hollow, maybe, and you could just like
Or a suspicious fucking rug,
incidentally
but
step
you're
on
like,
it. Yeah,
door there under that rug.
I
you
feel like
know?
that. Yeah, I feel like that's something you can inconspicuously scout out by just like fucking walking around.
Yeah, that was my aim.
It's just like it's just this guy skulking,
Just
stepping
walking
on the
around like
ground.
lifting rugs.
Yeah,
and like,
like,
you
yeah.
know,
Like occasionally just like stomping, like expectantly.
What is your investigation?
2.
What aptitude would you like to pair with it?
I do not know. I can't negotiably think of the ones that are higher points, so I think I just have to do perception because that's actually me just looking for things, and that's just 1.
Okay. And
I
from your
think
description,
I
I'd
think
say
you
you're
could
being
reasonably-
thorough.
Yeah, and I'm being thorough. Like that would be my. Yeah, I don't think I can argue. Like vigor would be a bad idea. Like
What about-
that'd be
What about
strong
like
arming things, and agility isn't like really like I'm not being quick about it.
what about cunning? Could like
break my
could you argue that you're like it's kind of like cunning of like understanding what's echoing where, or no? I guess that's still probably perception. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's still perception.
You have 3 successes. You have perceived the dimensions of this. It is centered slightly, but one end of the underground space is definitely up against the back wall of the building. There does not appear to be an entrance in this room, nor any other room on this floor. Wherever the entrance is, it's not here, but again, the edge of whatever this underground hollowed area is flush with the back wall of the building.
Does that so I know that that's just the back wall, but I couldn't discern how far forward it comes from there.
Yeah, it comes about halfway into the room from the back wall, and it's roughly centered kind of on the room. This fly is driving me crazy. I have no idea where it came from, and it just won't go away.
All right. Well, while they're doing, I guess, whatever they're doing, I can. If I think it's only inside, that, would that be enough information that going outside, I could look around and see if there's any more evidence of it expanding?
Yeah.
So I'll do that while they're going upstairs.
Okay. Around the back of the house. You spot a board that is just slightly not aligned with the rest of the boards on the back of the bottom of the house. The inn, not really a house. The building.
That is good to know. Are there people around? Around the back, anyway.
There's actually, this is kind of a crowded area compared to what you're used to, but you do have skills that can mitigate that, should you choose to implement them. But yeah, there's people going about their business, bustling little hubbub town.
Okay, I'm gonna be thinking of how I'm gonna use, or how I'll be able to activate my ability while
Okay.
the next set of things going on. I'm think of something.
Masashi, what would you like to be doing? The tattooer is heading up to try and tend to the injuries of the illness of the sick bard.
I'm not sure if he's here. I think he may still be tending to baby.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool.
I shall head out into the marketplaces looking for any kind of medicinal, any of the medicinal herbs and stuff, so I can make myself so that I could probably brew up some kind of homebrew remedy of. Because it sounds like
he has a fever, is what we know so far. I mean, how about you stick around? I'll check on him, and then we'll try and figure out what's going on, and then you can go out and see if you can find something that will help him. I don't know how good at diagnosing things I will be able to be at, but I can certainly try.
Well, you have some medicine skill, so.
Yep, I do.
All right. So let's you head up the stairs then. The two of you take a look. The bard is in bed. He has sweats, definitely a fever, and he is not conscious.
All right, I have a medicine of 3. If I have time to look him over, I'll use focus, but if not, I'll just use perception.
That is up to you.
I guess I'll go with perception, because I do kind of want to get things going. I don't necessarily want to have everyone wait. So I'll be rolling 4 dice.
Okay.
Don't know if my trait will come in handy here, but if it does, hooray. If not, that's cool too.
You have 3 successes in which you have identified that this is an entirely mundane illness. It's there are regular alchemical cures for this. You will have to work together to try and do it. So you have 3 successes on the board right now. You're going to need 7 more successes to cure him of this illness. It's non-magical. It's a sort of fever that some people catch. If not treated, it can be lethal, though it is not always lethal.
So I've already rolled my roll for this then. Yes?
You've rolled your first roll to identify. I'm going to let everybody have 1 additional roll to try and total up to 7. This can include going out to the marketplace, finding things, brewing things.
Cool.
Yes, I'll. Since I know my tea company, I guess I'll go head out and get some proper ingredients for this.
The marketplace is quite startling. It has the worst quality ingredients you've ever seen in your life. It also has the widest variety of ingredients you've ever seen in your life. And the largest quantity of ingredients you've ever seen in your life. They're just all awful in terms of quality.
There's so much and it's all so shitty.
Yeah.
I guess I'll get a wild variety of. I'll spend like a little time like going through like each thing and be like, oh, this one is a little bit off colored compared to the rest. This is unique.
A fucking Faythen'oc would do that. This one's the coolest one. These are all shit, but this one's the coolest one.
All right, let's see. What is your trade?
I have a trade of 4.
Do you want to try to use your trade to bargain for it, or do you want to use your resources to see what you can scrape up without actually spending any kind of thing?
I'll use my trade, and I'll use it with empathy, as I'll be explaining the sad story of this poor dying bard who needs these medicine right away. So that's 8 dice in total.
Just so you guys know, I'm totally chatting up that giant Faythen'oc lady. And like like grabbing her biceps and being like, "Oh, this would go great here." Blah blah blah.
Oh,
like,
oh,
whatever.
yeah, we know.
Just so you know.
Well, you can't.
We're well aware.
Well, you can't trust her. She's nothing but tall tales.
She's tall, but she does not have a tail.
All right, you got 3 successes. The merchants of the market have 4 successes. So you can try and make up your missing success by offering something from your inventory, or you can accept failure. Failure doesn't mean you don't come back with anything. It just might not be of a quality you want.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if there's anything I can do right now to increase that.
Just a second. Kitten wants to come into the room.
Note.
Dude. Have you guys seen that thing on Instagram where it's just like a cute little tune plays and like it kind of like zooms in on the central area of the video? I'm not explaining very well, but you'll hang on.
Where are you, Note? Aw, so cute.
Shadow.
Would my smell and taste help me with this, or?
Yeah, your pips. Yeah, actually. Sense of smell and taste would help you. So yeah, okay. That's enough pips to take one of these 3s and bring it over the line. How many pips in total do you have?
I have quality 4 on both of them. I'm just like smelling it and just like taking sample and just like you could tell like this part here is the quality or stuff. Just tell them exactly like what of their stuff is like the high gem stuff and just like it's like the rest is this crap, but this is the main stuff that you need.
Having none of the actual local currency, you are able to convince a couple guys to give you some things for random scraps of art, carved coins and things that you had in your pockets, and then of course a few free samples that you managed to talk some people into, and you bring the collection back to the inn. It's not your greatest triumph, but you kind of broke even there.
Yeah.
Dave, you should get Instagram just for the sole purpose of using this filter on your cat.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good.
Right?
All right. Troy, are you ready to
go? Potentially.
What would you like to do?
So if I want to like do my like shadows, do I start off by like trying to feel around and find like some kind of fear, or
Yep.
would I just describe it to you essentially?
Yeah, describe
like
it.
when I, because like
what fear did
essentially
you
I'm just making it up that point. Like, do I need to actually find something that would exist here, kind of thing?
It'd be nice if it's something reasonable for this. If you do something that's totally not in character for the location, I'll warn you.
Okay, so my immediate thought is like, so I'm looking around for something and I find basically a bullied child who is hiding and from place to place. And I'm not sure which way to go on this. So what I'm thinking is he wants the bullies to disappear. And so if I plan to attack anybody, that's what will break it.
That sounds perfect.
And I'm harshly handicapping myself, I know this, but I think that's an easy emotion to capture.
And that's consistent with the style of your magic. So that's yeah awesome. All right, you are shrouded in darkness and essentially invisible until you attack somebody.
Okay.
Or bully them, give them wedgies, stick their heads in toilets.
Yeah.
Give them a wet willy.
I can't mess with people now, I think, is what it will be.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do that to yourself,
We
Troy?
can call contact with people.
You're gonna have zero fun right now.
I think I can have complete fun.
long as you
So
have a
my
voice
plan is to keep an eye on if anybody's kind of like watching this area and then like start examining this like out of place wood or out of place panel, whatever I'm saying.
Okay. It's good that you went this route instead of the architect child route, because you do find that you're able to dismantle that panel, and it opens up to a underground little hidey hole under the inn. It's very, very dark in there. The sun is only just beginning to set. There still is a lot of light coming from the sun, but it's not quite reaching into that particular crevice. It's very dark. You're also starting to notice a lot of clouds gathering overhead. It looks like the weather's going to turn ugly the next day.
Well, that's not good. I do not have a source of light, I don't think, and that would be counterintuitive. For the, like, looking inside, it looks like just like pitch black kind of idea, or just like a really dim.
Just really, really dim. There's the floorboards were only creaking because an incredibly heavy woman was walking over them. Otherwise, they're pretty solid. Tiny slivers of light pierce down through the darkness from above, but they're inconsistent. They jump around as candles shift, lights move, and they're tiny pinpoints anyway. They're not opening up and revealing the great expanse in front of you. You get occasional glints of metal, maybe, from the walls, but you're not sure. Meanwhile, inside the inn, are you doing anything to participate with the attempts to cure the bard, Miles?
I don't really think I have anything I reasonably can contribute, to the point that I'm wondering if I should just go speak to the Lord. But yeah,
Wait, I mean, you're a bard. We've got
Yeah.
Faythen'oc around that believe in bards. Wouldn't it be helpful to? I mean, I don't know what your situation is as far as like what you can do on the fly, but you could maybe do like a I'm gonna hang out with this song about an ancestor who's a badass healer or some shit.
Yeah, I can basically I write, so I could write something. You know, I could write about this bard that's been felled by some wicked bullshit, and that through the aid of his Faythen'oc friends, he will, rise above it and return to his healthy state, I suppose.
Excellent. Roll your. You're basically you're improvising a magical effect to benefit them, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll your potential, and create the effect.
My potential is 3.
All right. So you've got 2 successes here. You're trying to create sort of generally an area effect here. You want this guy's operation to go well. So it's sort of a blessing on everyone.
Cool.
So I'm going to say everybody from this point on gets a bonus die towards helping this gentleman. Actually, I'm going to say a bonus success. This is you had 2 successes there. It's a small area effect, but it's an area effect. The material you got is quality 3. And you were taking your time to pick out the best of the best. So, yeah, the rest of what was out there was really bad.
Yeah, and after that's also me spending a trade to make it sure that's refined.
I actually want to look up that ability. So that's a cool one. Which one's it called?
Quality ingredients.
Oh, okay. All right, so you upgraded them to quality 4 through the use of your use of your trade skill. Okay, and I guess you're going to brew him a healing tea.
Yes.
How many dice do you roll for brewing?
I'm currently 7, plus the pips from my It's 6 here, right, for the heirloom tea set, right?
Yes, and then an additional 4 for the ingredients you just gathered.
Yeah, so 10 pips.
Ten pips really does a lot to power you through some successes.
That's so badass. Holy shit.
Yeah, so in a single cup of tea, you've gotten all 7 successes necessary.
That tea might just cure the dude.
Yeah, that's basically, yeah. Jackie, as soon as you manage to help him get this unconscious dude, to start swallowing the tea, there's an immediate change flowing through him. It is magical. Yeah. It actually is magical. This is a supernatural effect that he has generated with tea, and a little bit of help from some epic poetry from a local bard.
That
his-
tea of yours sure is handy. We can really do some heroic deeds with that tea.
His breathing calms, the sweat eventually stops, and within a few minutes his eyes flutter open, and he looks around. He doesn't quite have his voice back yet, but he is moving, struggling to sit up, and his heroes immediately are by his side, helping him back up.
Here's a second one for just in case. You obviously, while you're sleeping, you didn't get the true essence of the first cup of tea. So here's the second one, now that you're more aware of it.
With every sip, he looks better, healthier. Miles, you see the magic just flowing through him. This wasn't just tea, this was alka tea.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, in the basement.
Okay, so am I in here already? Was I
Yeah,
in here
you're in
already?
the room. It's just too dark for you to
Just-
really see what's going on at the moment.
Too dark. Do I have any? I don't have anything really.
Go fucking steal a candelabra or fucking candlestick. Come on.
I'm pretty sure like a floating candlestick will be pretty obvious.
You can shove it in your pants and like take it back over there
A-
and
a
then light it.
Put a flame in. Oh no, I was like put a flaming candle in my
No,
pants. That's
obviously not
It's
lit.
a great idea.
Obviously not lit.
Yeah, the only thing that should be lit is you.
I think I'm just gonna be like aiming to look for like a passage or something. Can I like kind of get to a wall and just kind of feel along the walls? This is probably a stupid idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I just want to see if it's a solid room.
Can you steal a candle from some kid's dream that's like using it to like to keep himself from the monsters? He's just like,
You crash against something. You have a 3-die condition
Ow.
coming at you. Which you can attempt to mitigate if you wish. But yeah, you've crashed against some sharp metal things that feel very much like weapons. It does cause a pretty loud bang. Like a crash and clank and metal on metal.
Oh, like did things fall over?
Yeah, it feels like you, just feeling around the wall, felt your way into some kind of weapons rack and it fell over on you.
Got it. I cannot reasonably use notice or avoid because it's dark as hell in here. So I have resist to at least pull 1, I guess, away. I'm still not really prepared for it, and then I guess 2 to the health.
All right, so you're a little bruised up from that.
Yeah, it hurt.
He's just like, I feel into the weapons. Can you fucking imagine?
Okay,
This
but
is
there
so
was a
good.
weapons rack down here. That's useful information.
Hard-won information, but useful.
Yeah, this seems a weird place to put a weapons rack. Normally you'd
Yeah.
want them where you can get to them a little easier. This is like hidden away. Like maybe they're not supposed to have them or
I
something.
bet you this is where people deposit their weapons from outside of town or something. Or rather, where they're taken. If you're supposed to surrender your shit at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw patrons inside the inn just walking around with spears, bows, crazy
So not that then.
Yeah, I mean the
gloves.
Faythen'ocs were described. It's not like they're storing their weapons or
Yeah,
taking
but
their
I
weapons.
wouldn't ask a Faythen'oc to unhand their fucking weapons.
Yeah, I mean, they could just be smugglers.
True. Or something more sinister is afoot. Which is probably more likely, because it's role playing.
Yeah. It's probably a weapons cache, which begs the question if I should continue to walk into weapons.
Did you guys see that clip that I sent you of the critical role thing where
Yeah.
they're like, I check for traps. I don't see any traps. Oh god, I'm stepping on all these traps. Like it's so good. They're like, I just run through. They're like, you get hit by a bunch of shit. They're like, oh no, don't do that. Oh god.
I like the one where it's like I run through. It's like you're hit by traps. Like, oh no, okay, no one should do that. It was a bad idea. And there's no wait, I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah. And the comically large flask he just keeps drinking out of as the night progresses. So good.
It's frightening, whatever was in that thing. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay, so I made a bunch of noise, so someone will probably notice. That's my hope now. And there will eventually probably be light turned on in here, and that won't affect me in any way. I think I'm just gonna kind of continue to move around and potentially make more noise as I'm doing it.
Okay, so now you're gonna crash into things on purpose.
You gotta throw a rager.
Not, I don't know if I want to really. I'm not trying to make noise, but I don't want to just mess with things because I feel like that's like not something I should be necessarily trying to do. I'm still trying to feel around, but I'm not obstructed by the noise. Like I know the noise isn't causing me a problem. So I'm not worried about being careless.
Okay, you proceed to bump around against things. You do feel the occasional wooden box, like crates and things, but yeah, mainly you find more carefully this time, but you find a couple weapon racks with what feel like spears on them, um, one with swords, and then some. It feels like maybe some armor. And then there is a glow of light. If any of you were inside the inn, those of you inside the inn may have noticed that the innkeeper casually said, "I need to relieve myself," and he took a lantern and headed out the door.
Huh. And we don't know what Draven's up to, right?
Not
Okay.
at all.
You rarely will.
Draven, you see a light source approaching.
I'm just gonna kind of like tuck back toward a wall and then like where I assume a wall is that didn't have like something I knocked over and wait for it to
Okay.
like brighten up the room.
What is your stealth plus agility?
My agility is 4 and my stealth is 4.
Your stealth is what?
4.
And then the spell gives you an extra 3 dice, right? Or is it 3
I think so.
successes?
I can't remember what it is because it's invisible. So what does invisible do?
It was either 3 dice or 3 successes. Is this first circle?
Second circle.
Second circle, that would be 3 successes. Meaning in normal circumstances, it's kind of an automatic success. So I just need to see how well this guy rolls. Yeah, I don't need to roll yours. He doesn't have a chance in hell of seeing you. This guy comes in. He kind of rushes in, looks around in a panic, sees the knocked over stuff, looks around, goes back up, and he pulls the door closed behind him and begins like kind of putting things back where they belong, counting things. When he sees that nothing is missing, he becomes even more nervous, like looking around. He has the demeanor of a man who's been caught doing something he's not supposed to be doing. But there's no one around to have caught him, and this is terrifying him even more. You sense great fear in him, fear that could be useful. Upstairs, the bard has now regained his voice and is able to speak. He thanks you and is ready to ask you or to answer your questions.
I'll say it appears some illness befell you. Your companion said that you were heading for the hospital. Is that correct?
Yes. It's the rainy season up here. We had a night in the cold on our way to this town, and I took an illness. Thank you for your assistance.
Yes, we have a very heroic teammaker in our presence.
Ah, indeed. The power of heroes should never be underestimated.
No, certainly not. I find it strange that they're at war with their own ancestors here. That they fear to enter their own buildings for their ancestors' presence.
It is a strange thing. I am not certain these are their ancestors. They're someone's ancestors, to be sure. Uh, there is some history we uncovered regarding this hospital. 20 years ago, it was a fully operational hospital, specifically built, I believe, because while this province had no intention of aggressing against the Faythen'oc province, you can hear him, the air quotes in his words, to the south, um, fully knowing better, probably from history or experience. They were happy to charge a toll to let other provinces send their armies through to attempt to conquer and rule the Faythen'oc. Sensing an economic opportunity, I believe they built the hospital. But 20 years ago, something happened, and it is full of ghosts now and not operational. I am pretty sure the ghosts are the soldiers who died in the hospital from other nations, not from this one.
So soldiers that died at Faythen'oc hands.
Seems to be the case, yes.
So-
I was going to, of course, travel in. I may need a day or two before I do that. I thank you for your help. The tea was incredible, and I feel stronger already. I think with another night of rest, I may be strong enough to accompany my brave soldiers.
Interesting. I will speak with the Lord, and we will attempt to get our own commission to go in there, and perhaps we can assist each other.
If you do acquire your own commission, may I ask that you bring these brave Faythen'oc with you? They are the ones who are eager to have their stories told. If I can't be the bard to help them, would you take my place?
Oh, certainly, absolutely. Yeah, my one concern is that I'm not sure how much time we really have, but certainly we would be happy to have the aid of any heroes that wish to journey with us, and any bards for that matter.
When I'm feeling better, perhaps I can journey with you. And again, thank you for the tea. This has been very powerful.
Yes, of course. So, Faythen'oc must help each other, especially here outside of our homeland.
Indeed. Is this your first time out here?
Out here specifically, yes. Yes, it is.
Well, then allow me to give you this gift of knowledge. As I've been journeying out here, assisting these people, recording their great deeds, there is a very, very nice and convenient thing they have here for navigation. It's so convenient, I wish we had it at home. It's not quite as useful as the belief network, but if you focus very, very faintly in the north, there is a psychic beacon. It's so faint you'll have trouble seeing it in this province, but as you travel north, it will become much, much brighter. It's always, well, almost always in the same spot. I think they move it from time to time a little bit, but, and I'm not sure why they made it or what, they're planning to do with it in the Empire. But for us, bards, it's quite useful for navigation, as most of the time it's at their capital city, at the center of the Empire.
I would like to focus and see if I can perceive it.
You can. It's incredibly faint. Weirdly, it feels like the kind of spark you see in the mind of another bard who's psychically aware, but it's just thousands of miles away. Which means that when you get close to it, it's going to be huge, bright, unmissable.
All right, I'll say, yes. Now that you see it, now that I know what to look for, yes, I can perceive it.
What's north of here? Like,
Well, I mean, I know Daru's Shield is north of here, but I assume this is not.
I feel like that's
right?
probably further, or rather, the beacon is further than the shield.
Yeah, it
since-
certainly sounds that way. Yeah.
Also, what was now that you had the nighttime? Exactly, are we close to the coordinates? Do you think of the that we got from the town below?
You are pretty sure you've traveled about half the distance between the farmhouse where the disaster happened and the shield, based on the coordinates that you got.
Cool. It's good to know.
What's maybe now if you've been in this area, what's this equal amount of distance away in that direction? Like,
Well, fair. This was about a day's travel, right?
Yeah, about it.
So yeah, is there anything noteworthy a day's travel north of here?
There is a bridge that crosses a river there. That's about the most noteworthy thing I know of. The other side of the bridge, you travel maybe another half day, and you enter into. Well, you're already in it technically, but you enter into the proper city of the province to the north.
Oh, okay. All right.
You'll have reached a gate and crossed it long before you get to the river, but yeah, the next province is a much larger territory than this one. But yeah, that's about what you'll find.
All right.
And are they of slavery up there?
Oh yeah, you guys are very new. That is a thing here. You will find there are slaves. Do your best not to become one.
Yes. So, yeah, I suppose we'll have to journey there at some point. Thank you for your insight. It's good to know that there's something to the north if we venture that way.
Nice.
Yes. Also strange that 20 years ago something happened at the hospital.
Yeah. See, it seems like there's because the vision that I had of Gunther, that's approximately 20 years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it seems like a reasonable theory that these things could very well be related.
Maybe they're great ancestors we can speak into at the hospital that we can find out.
There's still just enough daytime left that you could try visiting the Lord before settling down for the evening.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go visit the Lord.
How many are going?
I am definitely going.
I am also coming.
Same.
I'm also like just picking up a couple of like small herbs and stuff so that I can so when we get there I can offer my gift of tea to the Lord.
Yeah, the opportunity to tattoo the nobility, if they are so inclined, would be ideal.
Oh man, I still want to get a tattoo from you.
Oh yeah, totally.
Almost as good as tattooing that giant Amazon warrior goddess, right?
I mean, no, nothing is better than that. Get the fuck out of here.
I didn't say better. I just said almost as good.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, this guy's probably out of shape. Probably doesn't eat well. You know, he's probably living it up. His skin probably sucks. He's probably a fat little lord.
Marching up to the castle. The castle is guarded a little bit better than most things you found here. Small little contingent of guys, led by a guard captain, who is sort of the final say of who can and cannot get in to see the Lord. When you arrive, he is arguing with a tiny, mousy-looking man who sort of shrieks and whimpers and backs away whenever the guard captain's voice is raised. They turn to address you as you arrive. The smaller man in the pale robes just sort of backing away, graciously bowing. In the sort of the background behind them, you see that there are stables, and in the stables they have large jungle cats with saddles and harnesses on them. What is your business here? Adventures, are you?
So yes, we are seeking to exercise the hospital, so that we may be granted the favor of traveling papers. Is that what you have? I don't really understand, but whatever stories or tales we need to travel to the north.
Aha! You wish to travel north and need papers from the Lord. I understand. This seems more your field of expertise. He's turning to the little man. The man comes up and he says, yes. I am Terringer. I am advisor to Lord Hypo, the Green Branch of Spring. May he rule eternal. Please, come with me. And he, it almost seems like he's scurrying as he rushes in to the building.
Before going, I'd like to turn to the little meek guy in the white robes.
That's the guy. He just kind of scurried into the building.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's follow him.
Yeah, the guy who's staying out there is the guard captain. He's a pretty imposing figure. Not all muscle, but lots of muscle. Definitely all attitude. The castle is largely built of wood, which is just a wasted opportunity. This wood could have been carved into so many interesting shapes. It could have been seasoned better. It seems to have just had a layer of paint slapped over it, all in like single colors of reds and blacks. A little bit of white here and there. And then, of course, there is a motif of paper kind of rolled over pieces of the wood with green branches and tree motifs kind of painted on it.
So the tree motifs are only on the paper. They're not actually like engraved into the wood or anything.
Correct. Total wasted opportunity. They could have engraved tree motifs all over this wood if they'd only had the skill and foresight.
Yeah, that's some fucking bullshit is what that is.
Inside the...
Venatori looks at this door and she's like, it could still be painted.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I got like my hands just drumming on my chisel. I'm just like, yeah, this is just a bunch of nonsense.
Like as an engraver, I'm sure you must be incensed by this.
Yeah, I'm not pleased.
Yeah. I understand.
Inside there are tapestries depicting, all depicting the same guy. It's some guy who just looks incredibly buff. Just performing all kinds of amazing deeds, fighting guys. And all of them he's wielding a really super ornate spear that has like green markings, like the spear was carved from a growing tree that was evergreen, green bark and all. It looks really elaborate and fancy, and this is actually a sign of some decent art. You're pretty sure a couple of these were done on commission by Faythen'oc artists.
This lord is pretty great.
But some of them were not.
That's right. Some of them were not.
Do I recognize any of them? Are any of them like signed or anything like that?
The Faythen'oc ones, actually, yeah, all of them are signed.
Cool. I might recognize some contemporaries there.
You might, actually. What's your connections?
Two.
One success, yeah. So one of them you recognize. Go ahead and narrate who it is.
There's no like formal schooling or anything in Faythen'oc, is there? Like there's no like university.
Only for bards.
I thought so. That's what I figured. Then this guy was sort of like not necessarily a colleague, but somebody who I traded work with. So he helps like, put some stuff in my house. I tattooed him. And we actually have like traded some techniques. And I like point them out and say like, you see this right here? That's me.
The little mousy man is, I'm very impressive, very, very impressive, yes. There are some things I should tell you foreigners, so that you understand how to behave properly before the Lord. You must bow when you see him, and then rise only after he has left. This seems utterly ridiculous to all of you.
I'll say, but he is not my ancestor.
Mousy man says, yes. You are in a different place now, and in this place you must bow.
It's really good I'm not up there.
It is. Where are you, by the way? The guy eventually closes up and leaves. He's looks like he's going to actually seal the place behind him. Which isn't really a problem for you. You can just push it out once he's
I'm not
gone.
worried about that. I just wanted to be watching him to see what he did and see if he was like, see if he just fixed it up or see if he went to like anywhere else to see if like some part of the room was more important to him.
No, it looks like he does a check of most of the room. There are some crates he leaves alone. He sort of like glances at them but doesn't really seem to care. But you rapidly figure out it's because they're empty, and he's just double checking to make sure they're still empty and no one's like hidden a bomb in his secret hiding place.
Gotcha. So I can ascertain that the most important thing down here was his weapons. He felt like he got caught.
Yeah, like maybe he's not supposed to have them, and he got caught, and he's worried about who caught him and whether or not they're going to tell on him. Now, why they might be contraband, you don't know, and who might tell on him or who they might tell, you don't know.
Okay, but from the time that the room was lit up, they didn't look like amazing quality. Did they look like they came from south, or like
No.
did they look Faythen'oc quality, or they look lower?
Way lower. These are definitely not a Faythen'oc make. They might be considered of slightly better than the average stuff you've seen around, but not by much. If Faythen'oc's low grade is a 6, this stuff is a 4. And most of what you've seen in this province has been a 2 or a 3. He's basically guarding a trash pile, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, but nothing shady went on, and I was basically waiting to see if he did anything more. So, if I didn't have a chance based on that to get out before him, otherwise I'll wait until he locks up and I know he's gone, and then I'll break out.
Okay. Yeah, eventually he packs up and leaves, and you have an opportunity to break out. You emerge into the evening air. You're still encased in your invisibility, but the sun is starting to get low enough that you might not even need it with that much stealth going on. The rest of your party is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, at this point I have no idea where to go.
You imagine you might, if you did some psychic work, be able to pick up on the other bard's psychic spark. You know that he has the sense as well, so you might be able to find his imprint on the psychic field of the astral plane.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I know they were going upstairs in the inn, but so I assume I can head in that direction and then try to like pinpoint it from there.
You do sense there is a psychic mind upstairs in the inn.
And I'll follow that to try to ferret out where they are.
You find another
It's
bard.
strange that I only find one.
Yeah, there's a bard. He's sitting up in bed, sipping tea. His two heroes are on either side, chatting with him.
Okay, I'm still invisible, right?
Totally.
Okay, so I'll just I will just say, did another bard come by?
So, speaking out of thin air like that, you almost immediately have the huge lady, like, her bow is in her hand, and she draws something that resembles a ballista more than an arrow. Like, really thick, like, siege weapon kind of thing. She just pulls it one-handed and draws that back on her bow. You have the distinct impression that if she looses that arrow, even if it doesn't kill you, it will take out the wall behind you.
Fucking swoon, fam.
Her other companion, the little guy, makes a little flick of the wrist, and his fists are inside of gloves that are just covered in blades and spikes.
Who would win? One stabby boy, or
They're looking around the room in a panic, trying to figure out where it is, and you're pretty sure if they land a beat on you, it's gonna be over. The bard seems to be focusing on something. It's like he's drawing energy from something or somewhere that he's found nearby. He's not pulling on fear. He's pulling on something else. You think it might be curiosity. You basically got one action before he does whatever he's going to do. You can spend it trying to persuade them not to kill you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to do that invisibly, because I feel like at this point, if I become visible, they're going to attack me.
You could try and position yourself near a window so that your corpse lands next to your party.
It would pretty much carry me all the way, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
you know what? I think I remember hearing a line of dialogue in like The Last of Us or some shit like that, where like some enemy dudes are talking about like getting fucking ambushed and murdered. And one was like, "Well, don't leave me here alone." They're like, "Well, you're just gonna have to deal with it." They're like, "What if he comes up with me? Like, try to make a lot of noise when you die." It was like their fucking advice to him, like, and he's like, "Fucking assholes!" Like he's so salty about it. It's the best.
It's not bad advice, you know?
Can I try to improvise a spell?
Of course.
Is this room is lit, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to draw upon the fear of that innkeeper, because he'd been found out and all that, and use that as a source and just blanket this room in darkness.
Okay. Sphere of Darkness, first circle spell, you've got 2 successes. That's good. That's 5 stamina, unless you have anything to mitigate that. Do you have advantage in this situation?
No.
Alright, yeah.
I don't think so.
5 stamina.
All right.
The other bard pulls on, he's pulling on energy of curiosity, and he ends up improvising a spell of reveal what is hidden, which goes off without a hitch and dispels your invisibility in a perfectly pitch black room where no one can see anything.
That works.
Okay, yeah. So, Gallista needs to make her roll.
It's a good thing I started working on another character, so I have like a backup in case I just murdered myself right now.
Yeah, so you play with one like slightly sadistic GM, and you'll never not have a backup character.
I thankfully have never had to deal with that shit. I also refuse to play Lovecraftian campaigns because it's basically like, you know.
That's where like in those types of campaigns, like when you write your character up, like half of the thing is like, how am I going to close the story arc by killing him? And that's like a significant part of the character you write.
So she got 6 successes. Your sphere of darkness is taking 2 off of that. It's not really necessarily her ballista that's hitting you so much as it's the destruction to the wall behind you as it goes through it. But yeah, so she fires what we're very generously calling her arrow. And so there's 4 remaining dice of attacks for you to mitigate, as splinters from the wall shower you.
Okay, so can I use avoid with advantage in this because
Yes, you can.
it's my environment?
It's your environment, and you saw it coming.
Hey, Ted!
Oh, wow! Ed's here! What's up, Ed?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Welcome to the party. They finally got into the first Empire province.
Cool. I just wanted to check in and see what's going on.
I'm accidentally fighting Faythen'oc.
Nice.
I'm
It's
just
like a
making,
really bad idea.
I'm just making tea.
Yeah. Shingles sucks. That's my view right now.
Oh,
You
shit.
have fucking shingles?
I've got fucking shingles. It sucks.
God damn.
balls.
That's
sorry, dude.
awful. Sorry.
I've
Yeah.
been sleeping and taking opioids for the past week. So mostly sleeping.
Oh, that's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, it sucks balls. It's like chickenpox 2, The Vengeance.
No.
It's mostly gone though. It's not so bad right now. So yeah, sorry about that. Just continue. I'll just hang out.
Okay, so
What's advantage with what is it? It just counts for 2. Is that what it is?
we were playing with a
I can't
different
remember what.
different ideas with that. Let me see if I can remember exactly what we're doing right now. So I think what it is that you can always spend 5 endurance in place of a thing. The new thing with advantage is that advantage in certain circumstances and with certain talents can reduce that. So what it would basically let you do if you had advantage and the correct talent is instead of spending your avoid or trying to think if it's 3 or if it's 1. Can't remember. Which is why I'm going to go look it up, because it's all in the new Fluid Wiki.
Is it in the same link as before? Is it like a whole new thing?
I think
This is a new one.
it's the new one. It's the one on GitLab.
I might need a link to that at some point.
Linked.
Is that the standard or the Talus? Probably use the Talus. It's the same. For now.
It's just one more tier down, right? Just slash Talus.
I'm working on it, as you can see. It's under construction.
Oh, you already
Cool.
posted it.
Yeah, this is neat. I haven't had a chance to look through this. Anything I should like look at first? We'll talk about it later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Is it the character droplet? Is that where it was?
It's under status. No, posture.
Okay, I just had to search for it. There we go.
GitLab is a lot better than GitHub, by the way. Also not owned by Microsoft, which is a bonus.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so there's new talents that are basically related to it. But yeah, basically it reduces the cost by 1 if you have advantage. So that can bring it down to 4. The talent can bring it down to 3, and then there's you can narrate that like it was a particular situation to bring it down even further. In this case, I think, yeah, you had the situational advantage, so you could spend 4 endurance instead of 5 endurance if you wanted to use endurance as the dump stat for this instead of your agility, but agility can always be used. Or not agility, avoid.
Okay, so, but I could arguably use 1 endurance and my 3 avoid.
Yes. Wait, no. Why 1 endurance? You have 4 coming at you. Mitigating 1 with endurance instead of avoid would mean you're using 4 endurance for that 1. So it would be a total of 16 endurance to do all of them.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. 1 with endurance, so 4 endurance and
Okay.
3 avoid.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'm not taking any other damage or anything.
Then you knowing where she was aiming, you deftly get clear of the blast radius as she fires the oversized arrow and takes out one of the walls. A little bit of evening light comes into that portion of the room. A little bit. Your darkness spell is still ruling the day. You have another opportunity to try and do something.
I think my best option at this point was to use the destruction of that like area to just like leave.
Okay.
So just as acrobatically as I need to do it and just get out.
You're on the upper floor. Let's see. Your acrobatics is pretty good, isn't it?
My acrobatics is 2, but I can pull grace for this if I need to. Which
And
I'm
what's
probably
your
just going to
agility?
do. So my agility's 4, acrobatics 2, and so if I use grace, I just get agility and successes.
Okay.
So I'll take 4 successes and then 2 dice to roll.
So you land without hurting yourself, and without taking any additional attacks from the dude with the spiked fists. They're eager to pursue, but they're reluctant to leave their bard unguarded. So they're stopping to have a quick conversation of who's going to guard the bard and who's going to chase after you.
Do they know I'm gone?
You did kind of dive through the window, or window. You
Oh,
go
yeah,
through the
yeah.
opening.
I wasn't sure how big the sphere of darkness was. If they could see me jump out.
Maybe they didn't actually. Let's make them roll for it.
Because if it doesn't cover the whole room, then I understand that. But I know it made some light come in through. So if I'm jumping through that, I am exposing myself, I guess, a little bit.
Oh, actually, they don't even have enough dice to deal with your sphere of darkness. So yeah, you get away. They don't know where you've gone. You've gotten away scot-clearing.
All right, and I am aware that they should have been heading toward the castle to. I don't know that they're going there, but the last knowledge I had is they were going into the inn, but there was also talk of going to the castle for the stuff. So
Okay.
I'm gonna head in that direction, probably swiftly.
Meanwhile, the castle, what's his name? The advisor, Turinger. Turinger is leading you guys into the Lord's sort of meeting chamber. He's seated on a raised pillow, which is itself on a raised platform. He's sitting cross-legged. Yeah, there's some honor guard in here. They don't look particularly threatening to you guys. And you guys aren't even the combat version of the Faythen'oc. But there are lots and lots more of those pictures. The pictures in here look a little more like... How can I describe them? The pictures in here look a little more like the sort of thing that like one of his relatives probably had one of their kids draw, and he's hanging them up so that the relatives see it. And less for like his own personal desire to see it. Looks like all the entry halls have the really good pictures. And this one has the pictures that, he needs, for the sake of relations, he needs the family to see that, oh yeah, he really did hang it up. He also looks nothing like the pictures. All the depictions show him as this huge buff guy. He is not.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah, he's overweight, out of shape.
I knew it.
It's a complete fabrication.
Like mug ass little grin like to herself where she just nods and looks at this fucking guy.
Also, the spear that he's depicted as wielding in all of those paintings is nowhere to be seen.
I'm gonna guess it's a metaphorical spear.
It's his dick.
Big dick energy.
So the most important question here is, do you bow?
I really don't want to. I've been wrestling with this for like the last half hour. I'll definitely bow initially. I'm very undecided about whether to stay bowing or not.
I bow out of spite and just be like, look at these strong ass fucking Faythen'oc thighs. I bet you can't fucking do this for as long as I can.
The little man is very pleased that at least one of you bowed.
All right, let's. I don't.
My body is strong.
You know what? I've been tasked with a mission, and in order to see it through, if seeing it through smoothly entails that I have to bow, I'll fucking do it. I'm fine. I'll bow.
I'm also bowing, but you're hearing a clinking of a cup as I'm
Yeah.
stirring.
Like very grudging. I want it to be like visibly begrudgingly that I'm bowing. Like I did. It's very clear to anyone that cares to pay attention that I didn't really want to, and that I'm not pleased to be doing it, but I'm doing it. So congratulations, dude.
Yeah, Venatori by contrast is like just bowing as like deeply and is like the most physical exertion that you can possibly do. And she's like not even breaking a sweat. She's like, yeah, I can fucking stay like this forever. Just fucking watch.
Yeah, like for me, it's like the shallowest bow I can conceivably get away with.
The little advisor man that led you in smiles as though he's accomplished a great triumph, whereas the Lord is poker-faced. One of his eyebrows raises slightly, and he is clearly looking specifically like at each of you one by one, and then it returns itself to its normal position. and it is a very deliberate act. He wanted you to see his eyebrow raised, and so he showed you his eyebrow raised, but this guy's otherwise poker-faced. You're starting to get the sense that what this guy lacks in the physical prowess that he has painted about him, he makes up for in social awareness. The advisor then speaks on your behalf and says, these have come seeking to earn travel papers from your lordship, the most gracious green branch of spring that grows ever. And he, bowing and kowtowing, sort of backs away. The Lord gestures with a hand and says, you may speak for yourselves.
But first, would you like some tea?
This time you think you see a genuine eyebrow raise and not a calculated one. This is, why yes, I would enjoy some tea.
As I pull from behind my back a tray full of tea and a little sugar bowl in the middle, I walk up to him and I offer him the first cup of tea.
It suddenly occurred to me that Ed being here, it might be possible we have Uther again.
I can see what I can do.
If not, it's okay. I've just been rolling the dice myself here on the desk.
Like a fucking savage.
Some kind of animal.
It's amazing how spoiled we become with these technological tools.
You know what, though? I was watching Critical Role, and I was just like, man, that dice tower is pretty dope. That little dice tree.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Like,
Yeah, dice towers are cool.
Like, man. Like,
When
I
you're
kinda
playing
miss
in
that.
person, like, physical dice are the best, because everyone leans over the table, anxious to see what the numbers are and everything. It's great.
I actually saw somebody do, like, a dice test. You know how, like, there's the whole, like, this dice has been bad to me, it's burned me, it's going into timeout, like, all that shit. So this guy, he just like bought a bunch of dice, like at varying price points, and like basically like sawed them in half to show the insides. And like the cheaper ones are like made of like inconsistent materials, and they're actually like weighted to a side because they're just made of like, they're not balanced when they make them. They just basically mold a bunch of shitty dice.
That feels like vindication, because I swear to God, I've thrown away dice before.
Yeah, totally. Like he did this other thing too. Like he took, obviously, like most of them are like acrylic or like plastic. He like stuck them in a thing of water, and like they're somewhat buoyant, so he could like flip them in there and jostle them around, and they would always turn up the side that they were like least heavy on. You know what I mean? So they were clearly weighted, and they would always flip back up to like the same spot. Now I'm like paranoid about like ever buying new dice, because I'm like, what if this one's shitty? Who made this? Like,
So, initially, Tice, you had 4 successes, but then your pips pushed that up to 7.
nice.
So you've made a quality 7T. I've granted you advantage on that one because you were being respectful,
All right, thank you.
which is one of your traits.
So yeah, the first cup goes to the Lord, and then his second gets the cup, and then everyone else gets one.
Are you pouring all of them out of the same pot? Like, are you making separate teacups and then presenting them, or are you making one tea, presenting cups, and then pouring each person's cup?
I'm I go to each person and I personally pour them the tea, and then I offer it to them as sort of
Okay.
like a tea ceremony.
He waits until you drink your tea first.
Makes sense. I was about to say, like, he has to assume there's like a solid chance somebody's trying to poison him here, right?
Oh, yes. He definitely does.
Okay, ether's up.
Sweet. Thank you. I'm going to put away the dice before the cat eats them.
What if she rolls them instead?
She'll roll them when she passes them.
We'll focus on rolling before we focus on rolling dice. She has mastered napping. That's her main skill right now. And napping on my keyboard with her head on like buttons that continuously type characters. That's skill number 1. Okay, so the Lord eventually does drink his tea and is quite impressed. It is very good tea. And so you've gained some bonus dice here for your social interaction. He comments on how excellent the tea is. You are clearly a skilled artisan. There may perhaps be a place for you in my court.
Thanks for the offer, but I need to go where the tea blows. Being stuck in one place is not my thing.
Such as it must be, yeah. The leaves fall and then grow anew.
Yeah, and I'll speak up, and I'll say, and that strikes to the heart of our dilemma, Lord Hypo. We wish to journey to the north because there are tales to be told there, but I understand that we need something called travel papers. I understand papers. I am a writer. I'm a writer and engraver, but the idea of papers that permit you to travel and see the world, I do not understand them. But I am to understand that you are the authority on this, and that you, of all people, alone could grant them. So
I
come to
can
you.
grant you travel papers. That is true. In so doing, I take some risk and responsibility upon myself. Your conduct would reflect upon my province. As you are from a province with no lord of its own, I must take that position and offer to the other lords my guarantee of your good conduct.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that is interesting. I understand that. And I also understand that as Faythen'oc, that this would constitute a favor done to us, and in exchange, we are obligated to provide at least an equivalent favor to you. And to that effect, we would offer to. We understand that there are some complications in the hospital down at the bottom of this city, and we would offer to exercise the hospital for you.
He smiles. You are a merchant at heart. That is a good thing in this place. But also, nobility is an important virtue. I need to not only see that you have done something that is worth my effort and worth my risk, but also that you are of a noble spirit, and that in granting you permission to travel, I am not putting myself at risk in being poorly represented. So it is both payment and proof. If you prove yourself, and do so in a way that benefits me, then yes, I will grant you travel papers. And the hospital is a bit of a sore spot. Go ahead and make a perception. Perception plus empathy when he says sore spot. Something is triggering in his mind, and your psychic sense is picking up on it. Let's see if you can zero in on it.
Okay, so perception plus empathy, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? Perception's one of them? Yeah. Oh, sorry, no, not perception.
Investigation.
I'm sorry, investigation plus empathy. Yes, I'm sorry, that's my bad. You could
Okay.
also do investigation plus perception if you wanted to, but empathy is much more appropriate.
No, I prefer empathy. Does my psychic keen sense apply here?
Yes, it does.
All right, 4 successes.
He is feeling pain in his left arm, and that pain is exacerbated by the memory of the hospital.
In the paintings, was his left arm wielding the spear?
No, in his paintings, he wields the spear with his right arm.
Okay. Okay, then I'm not going to bring it up. I'll just say, yes, I understand that, my lord. We will we will take care of the hospital. And to be clear, I am no merchant. I am a historian.
We are great heroes.
Yeah, I am a historian. I'm a teller of history and legend, and nothing more.
Well, I hope you will tell of the history and legend of your clearing my hospital of its ghosts.
I certainly intend to. I will return to you when the deed is complete.
Jackie, did you want to say anything or do anything here?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay. I guess while we're waiting for her, so Troy.
You should talk shit about his kids' paintings.
Huh?
Alright, is Troy here? Troy has wandered off. That's okay.
I'm here.
I think he said he's here.
Oh, he is here. He's just not on camera. Okay. So the you sneak up on the castle. Your invisibility spell has since been dispelled by by the other bard. But as night falls and as the shadows grow long, it becomes pretty easy for you to sneak about. This castle, while the most impressive building in terms of architecture here, is flimsy compared to what you're used to. Some of the walls you think might actually just be made out of paper.
I basically, as we were leaving, get up from my like rigid, perfect posture, maximum flexed out like bow position, and say, "'Cause I'm strong," and then like walk out, like this young lady here in this video.
Nice. All right, yeah. And you proceed out. The guard captain is still waiting outside. He's tending to their riding cats. He sort of eyes you as you go by. Says, "Get what you were looking for?"
Sorry, I was distracted. Was that at me?
No, that was at the rest of the party. Yeah, you seeing it, you see your party sort of coming out of the main entrance to the castle. This castle, there's so much of it that looks kind of like they tried really hard but just didn't have what it took. Like you can see where they dug a moat, they just didn't bother to fill it with water.
Oh, for real?
Didn't this look like really good from far away?
Yeah, it looked much better from far away.
Oh, it's like a Monet.
Up close, you can see the seams. I think since the party has gotten back together again for the most part, this might be a good stopping point for the evening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up again next week as you enter the haunted hospital.
Spooky.
All right.
Also, when you guys have a chance, do watch that video because I've never seen like a more like maximum alpha chick in my whole life. That's a great video.
Is that where that dance is from, or is she doing the dance?
I think she's doing the dance, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that the dance predates her, but it's an excellent use of that
Gotcha.
dance.
She does it very aggressively.
So
It's
fast,
frightening.
like
Yeah.
so good.
So yeah, I'd like to give an experience point to Kite for basically his under bar espionage. I'd like to give one to our other bard for so much he did today. For making that guard weep with his epic poetry.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd like to give one to our tattooist, going that just like she was just looking at that Amazoness and be like, I just want to tat that.
Just look at the size of her.
Yeah, not tap that, that.
Yeah. Gonna blast some tats all over that.
I just want to.
It's an important distinction.
I just want to.
I mean, both are true. Both are true, but
I just want to spread my liquid all over her. By liquid, I meant my tattoos.
Yeah.
Blast it under the skin.
Just get right in there. I want to penetrate.
Yeah, get right up in there. All right. Well, moving on. I'd like
On another note.
I'd like to give one experience to Draven for specifically narrating the spell that gave you invisibility, how you were kind of channeling the energies of a bullied child. Yeah, I just thought that narratively fit, and it was just a cool, it's cool flavor to the spell you were casting. So I thought that was neat and worthy of an experience. To Venatori for specifically stopping to note that with this giant Amazoness one before you, that just the sheer quantity of canvas that was there, just for how compelling that was to you. Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was perfect. And to Musashi, of course, for curing what certainly seemed to be a dying man, if not dying, certainly very sick. But you cured him with tea, and that's pretty badass. So experience for you.
I love that, and I feel so fucking bad if a Faythen'oc bard got taken out by a fucking cold, like a flu, is what done him in. That'd be so upsetting.
Yeah, we would have to narrate it as being something way better than that.
Oh yeah. All right. Troy, I love that you just stuck with the decision to like grope your way through that dark basement. You're just like, fuck light. I don't need light. I got hands. And just like fell into some weapons. I love that you were committed to that action, even though you kind of knew it was not the best idea, because it was really just a delight to experience. To Tice, I love that you were like super, honestly, your interaction with like the nobility was like super diplomatic and super helpful. And I'm sure like it really helped with our first impression, I think, because otherwise we got a bunch of fucking people who don't like authority, because it's like Faythen'oc is like super individualistic culture in a lot of ways. So it's great that you were able to like not really not do that, because honestly you're badass tea makers. So your way of being like a super hyper individual is by like, without giving any fucks, brewing the best tea this king has ever had, So I appreciate that though. I think it'll help on our diplomatic mission. Speaking of diplomatic mission, what's it like to be Harving? Miles?
It's I mean, weirdly, I'm still kind of playing him as like half a Thar. So
Yeah. Yeah, and thankfully you don't have a Gunther or Wuthar style heroes to like wrangle.
Yeah,
like you have like the B team, the artisan crew.
Yeah, we
like
got
people.
yeah, We got like some thoroughly beatnik heroes here, so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm all right.
But yeah, really awesome. Taking on like the leadership role, really kind of helps us move the story forward. So it's really nice that you take action, decisive action.
Yep, you just need steering every once in a while. And then the moment I walk away, which brings it to Heldren first, earning the papers through doing what you plan to do the entire time you on your way into the town. Like negotiating to earn the travel papers based on exercising the hospital, which is what you wanted to do as soon as you walked in the town, and I said, let's not do that. And as soon as I'm gone, you go and negotiate a way to do it.
I was like, well, he's willing to give us what we want in exchange for us doing something I wanted to do anyways. So it's like, all right, cool, win-win, man.
Which was fantastic. Masashi, for a few things I was gonna point out, the starting off like that basic negotiation moment. I thought you were gonna go a different way with handing out the tea, but it did work out that it was the way you did it. But mostly just you always having your tea ready. Like it's just like I'm waiting for you to say, and I hand him tea. So it's keeping up, and it's helping here and there, and it's good. And then for Venatori, I literally just have tattoo crushing written, because you're not crushing tattoos, but you're crushing on tattoos. But the canvas stuff was pretty great. And then you bowed the entire time while you were in there, right?
Because I'm strong.
Like you were the only one that did what you were supposed to, or what you were told to do when you were in there, which probably helped the entire situation in some way. So like I really expected you to do something nuts, but it also says like you're an interesting kind of Faythen'oc, and so I want to see like more of what that's gonna mean. You got to play something different than the Thars, right? You can't just be bold and nuts and crazy. You're gonna be different.
I do think like in tying into like my like very very surface level like understanding of a lot of tattoo culture is that a lot of apprenticeship is just doing what you're told. If they tell you, obviously this is not my experience because my mentor and my colleagues are like super like nice, respectful people. But I hear stories all the time. It's like, if you don't fucking go back and get us the ketchup, you are fired. Like, and just like running across town to grab the ketchup that you forgot to get while you were getting food for everyone. Like that kind of shit. Like when somebody says jump, you say how high kind of shit. It's like, oh, you want to tell me to do something? Just fucking watch me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the best you've ever seen. Like, fuck you. Like,
that was a very productive session, and yeah.
Nobody died.
No one died. Even you. You almost got like.
Yeah, you came the closest.
You came the closest
I almost got ballisted.
You were the closest to getting penetrated. This like,
I don't know if that's true.
By the main target of the penetration.
Yeah. And you also fell into some weapons. Like you're the only one who took damage. This whole session, you like took damage because you fell into some weapons. Like, god damn it.
Considering how much damage Heldren took last session, I think you had it coming.
Yeah, I let him get the brunt of that one, so I deserve.
You're like, ooh, that's a nasty psych attack. I guess I'm just gonna let that happen.
I got hurt a little bit, right? But like, not
as
much.
You deflected some of the damage. Like,
you made an attempt. You just didn't roll high enough.
No, I had psychic backlash, but
yeah.
But I didn't light on fire.
That's true. That's true.
So I suppose I could have like critically failed.
Yeah, I suppose you could
hold
have.
the fire into myself.
That would have been bad.
All right. Well, thank you everybody, and on Tuesday, we will broadcast this, and then we'll do it again next week. Jackie, I think you're going to be out next week.
Yeah, Kristen and I will both be out. I'm going to Italy to meet her there, and we will be there for 2 weeks.
Okay. So I imagine that while the rest of them are adventuring in the hospital, you'll just be tagging along behind the Amazon woman.
Either
preparing
that,
cookies.
or if there is any kind of like any shop nearby, I'll pay my respects and do intelligence gathering, basically.
Okay.
Like cultural intelligence gathering, being like, oh, what kind of stuff is popular here? Like, what kind of imagery? Like, and just compile more knowledge, basically.
Sounds good. I don't think they're going to leave this province next session, so I think that'll be fine. It sounds like they're getting set to go on a full-on dungeon crawl.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down to help with that too, especially if the NPCs are joining us, because that will actually give me an opportunity to do some more Faythen'oc tattooing on that giant, beautiful woman.
Seduce your giantess.
I mean, it would be a boon for sure to have a big giant girlfriend, but you know, that's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it for the art. I can tell myself that, you know.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome session.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Yeah,
That was fun.
we're all about the diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
God damn, you went so long without making a pun, and then you had to.
Yeah.
No, he's been making puns all fucking night. I think you just like blocked them out of your memory.
Yeah, I might just be filtering him out at this point.
There's just a gap in him talking, and so that was the time where there was no
You've
pun.
been filtering them out.
All right. Have a good night. All right, and that was the session. So, yeah. Get some light back in here, back in this room. All right, thank you everybody for watching, and of course we're going to resume next week, same time, same channel, and we'll see how well their adventure goes as they go into the haunted hospital. Have a wonderful night. Let's see.